What's going on, guys? I'm Seth Thomas here, George, the coach of your San Francisco 49ers, and today I'll be bringing you my team builder video for the Week 1 battle against Lars or the Borussia Donphans, I believe, and it's an important battle because Week 1, it's Week 1. No one wants to start off the season on a loss. Personally, I am 2-0 on my Week 1 battles in the D League, but this is not the D League. This is all seasoned performers in this format. They all know what they're doing. All of them are experienced, and all of them know how to team build very well. Now, I've never made a team building video before on my draft-based battles. The reason being is I usually don't like to reveal my thought processes behind my all my Pokemon, because it gives your all the opponents an easier time of like counter teaming you, in my opinion. It also gets your ideas out there, like if a Pokemon isn't shown at all. But this is the GBA, and I felt that I would actually give my thought process on everything, because I feel like it's just something that I don't know that I should do for you guys. So please bear with me. I have not done one of these before, and I will try to explain every Pokemon to the best of their ability. Now, Lars's team. Lars's team is the most threatening in the GBA, in my opinion, towards my team. His team, he can find a way to counter every single one of my Pokemon, except for maybe Mega Lopunny, in the sense of he only has Tangrowth for it. So I know he's bringing Tangrowth at least. But the combination of Landorus, and Azumarill, just as his first two picks, that offensive pressure on my team is huge, and I have to bring Mons in order to deal with them. But with the team I drafted, I have a very hard time countering those two. If I were to counter them perfectly, I'd basically be running 5 walls on my team, because I would need a counter for like Assault Vest Azumarill and Belly Drum Azumarill, as well as Calm Mind Lando, Rock Polish Lando, Swords Dance Lando. They can do so many different things, so it's a pain to prepare for. But I feel I did a pretty good job with this team right here. I'm sorry about that, guys. Just had to do a quick little pause and cut right there, because I just wanted to copy paste Lars's team to where I could see it. Actually, I think I'll just drag that over here so you guys can see his team as well. Now, Landorus, Azumarill, Crobat, Cobalion, Tangrowth, Regirock, Slowking, Scolipede, Druddigon, Sandslash, and the Mega Absol. Looking at my Mega Lopunny, I have coverage to hit everything on his team, and the only thing that can possibly take me on is Druddigon if he has the Rocky Helmet and the Rough Skin, the Sandslash potentially if it's max physically defensive, and the Tangrowth. Now, Druddigon and the Sandslash don't really have the best of matchups against my team, so I really think he'll bring the Tangrowth. But there's not much I can do about that on my coverage. I don't really have much to hit it. I believe if he's max defensive, I do maybe 35% to him. So, but if I find a way of taking out the Tangrowth, then I basically can possibly win the game with this thing. Depending on the damage I have on everything else. But anyways, I don't really need to explain this set that much. I have enough speed to outspeed, I believe, Crobat, or I think Choice Scarf something. I think Crobat, honestly. And Mega Absol. Mega Absol's fast. I don't think it is, but so that is the first Pokemon, and now going off to my next one, I do have Proto, the Scizor, as that just disappears again. Proto, the Scizor. This thing has a very strong matchup against this team. It has the priority, and it has the coverage that he can't actually handle this thing that well. I can BP the Landorus, I can BP the Azumarill, I can BP the Crobat, I can Superpower the Cobalion, I can U-turn on Tangrowth, I can BP or Superpower the Regirock, U-turn on the Slowking, I can BP the Scolipede. I did not want to run a Swords Dance set though, because I already was kind of relying on the Mega Lopunny like in the late game, so I didn't want to have to rely on the Mega Lopunny and then also have the Swords Dancing Scizor in the back. I would rather have the Roost on my Scizor to where I can increase its longevity, and I can use Scizor as more of a pivot in the early and the mid game, to where I can kind of whittle down his team. I can see what his counters are to it, and really the only thing that can take the combination of my two stabs is the Cobalion. So I'm really thinking he has to bring the Cobalion, or he could also bring the Druddigon with the Fire Punch, I'm guessing. But again, Druddigon just doesn't have a good matchup against me, so I don't think he'll do it. I think he'll bring the Cobalion to try to counter me, honestly. And with this Life Orb set, I can be a fantastic revenge killer. Insane power, Roost. It's a good set in my opinion. Going on to my third pick is going to be my Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen is a Choice Scarf set, actually, with enough speed to outspeed, I believe, Crobat. Actually, maybe not Crobat. I don't know what I have enough speed to outspeed. I have enough speed to outspeed something, though. It's either Landorus or Crobat, or Cobalion. One of those three, but anyway, why I decided to Choice Scarf it, and as well as have rocks on it. So, my plan with it is to, if I see the matchup is great with it, I would lead off with it turn 1, and I would go for rocks. What that's going to do is he's going to be thinking instantly he's not Choice Scarfed. He's probably Life Orb or Black Sludge or something, and I can really use that to my advantage in the late game, where I can bring in the Nidoqueen, he brings in the Landorus thinking he can take me on, and I go for Ice Beam, Outspeed, and take him out. That's really the plan I'm thinking of right here. And the coverage, Earth Power, Ice Beam, and Sludge Wave, with that coverage, I think I hit almost everything on his team for super effective damage, and the only thing that can really tank me is a Slowking. And if he brings a Slowking, I have 4 other Mons on my team that have the potential of taking it out, so it's not even going to be useful except for against my Nidoqueen. So, that's why I brought this thing, that's why it's Choice Scarf, and if anyone understands the nickname, look at its nipples right there, its boobs right there, and if you understand that nickname, well then you are a legend. Anyway, next Pokemon is actually one that's going to put in a lot of work in my opinion in this match. Rotom. Now, with this Rotom set, it's a very standard set, in the sense of 252, 252, but it's a defensive spread. Now, why am I running defensive? Well, Wall's the Crobat, Wall's the Cobalion. It can tank the Regirock and the Tangrowth, tank the Scolipede, tank the Sandslash, and the Landorus, depending on the spread, the only thing he can use to hit me with is Knockoff. And if I burn it before then, I can Pain Split stall him and eventually just go for Hex and take him out. So, Rotom right here is actually going to be a huge mon because it allows me to take the defensive pressure off of, like, the only thing I can't counter is, like, a Azumarill. And I'm trying, you guys will see that this team isn't oriented to take out a Azumarill that well. I'm going to have a problem with it. There's nothing I can do about it. The only thing on my team that could possibly take it out is maybe Gastrodon, and also Miltank, but those two just did not fit on the team, in my opinion. Maybe I could have changed around the dynamics a bit more, but I feel like this is the team I need to take them on, and the Azumarill positive it'll be brought. Don't have as many answers for it, but I'm pretty sure I can handle it, especially because with this Rotom, I'll be able to pass around the burns. And if he brings in the Azumarill and gets a kill, I go into Rotom, and I get the offensive momentum with the Volt Switch or with the Will-O-Wisp. And this thing's, I have hopes and dreams for this thing. I feel like it's going to be great. It's necessary for my team right now, and it's going to be putting in the work. It has a great typing and a great ability, and I'm kind of looking forward to this thing. Next up, I am using Togetic. The main reason I'm using Togetic right now is, one, I wanted a Defogger, because he has access to rocks and spikes on his team. 2, I needed a special wall that could take on the Slowking if it's like a Trick Room set, as well as the Tangrowth and the Landorus, because if the Landorus has some mixed spread with knockoff and Earth Power, I don't know, it can, this thing can put in a lot of work against this team, as well as pass around a T-Wave once in a while. It also walls the Mega Absol, except if he has the Iron Tail or the Stone Edge, which if he has those moves, that's one less move for him to possibly hit my Mega Lopunny with, as in, like, he can have the Play Rough then. Also, that means he's not going to have the Flamethrower to take on my Scizor, or the Play Rough to take on my Goodra. So it's just, it's a Pokemon that's going to centralize his team a lot, in my opinion, because he's going to have a problem to take it out. And I have the Soft World, I have Defog, I have the Dazzling Gleam for Stab, and T-Wave, because my team is relatively slow. His team has some speed on it. If I can T-Wave like a Crobat, a Cobalion, or the Scolipede, then I can really start to put in the work with some of my slower mons. Mainly the Scizor, because of course the Nidoqueen is Choice Scarfed, and Rotom can put in work too, especially with the Hex in combination with this. Hex will be doing a lot of damage, even though I'm not invested. Hex is a powerful move after you've been statused, and my plan is basically I'm going to pass around the status. We're going to try to whittle his team around until Mega Lopunny can come in and just clean up at the end. So that's pretty much that. My next Pokemon is the captain of the team. It's Goodra, of course nicknamed Captain, and Assault Vest and Sap Sipper. The Sap Sipper is to take on the Tangrowth again. I have the Draco, the Power Whip, the Ice Beam, and the Flamethrower. With this coverage, I have the ability to pretty much take out his entire team. I have the Power Whip over the Sludge Bomb for in case he has an AV Azumarill, as well as the Slowking if he wants to bring that to take on my special moves. I have the Power Whip and I can just take him out, as well as I benefit from the Sap Sipper then. So if he goes into Tangrowth, on, let's say, the Mega Lopunny, he goes for Giga Drain. I go into Goodra, I drop a Draco, do a lot of damage to something, and then he goes into a Azumarill thinking now he can take it, and I go for Power Whip because I'm mixed and I just take him out. So that's pretty much the thought process behind this Pokemon. It deals a lot of damage to his team. I love Goodra. It's going to be a highlight of this season, I think, and it's going to be a Pokemon that people do have to watch out for and prepare for as well. Also, I do have a few sets with this thing coming up down the line that I'm really excited for. There's some things I want to try with this that I think can put in the work. But anyways, guys, that is going to be my team for Week 1 of the GBA Season 5 against the Borussia Donphans, or ElScizor, or Lars. It is going to be a tough battle. Lars is the reigning champion of the previous league that he was in, and we got 3rd place, I believe, or 4th, whatever you want to kind of say there, in the D-League last season, as well as 3rd place in the first season of the D-League. So we have a lot to prove. We have a lot to prove in the sense of that we are not going to be a pushover team in the GBA. We are going to be a team that does take lives. We're going to take lives, boys. Anyway, if you did appreciate this video, if you did like this video, I would appreciate it if you were to leave a like or a comment on just the team, how I can make it better, how I can make it worse. Obviously, if I'm uploading this, the battle's already done, but you can always just leave your insight. I'll always read it. I'll always take it and I'll apply it to my next week's team. Anyways, guys, I'm Seth Thomas here, George, the coach of your San Francisco Arcanines, and peace out.